Warren Buffett did what? What's up, guys? And on today's video, we're going to talk about what stocks Warren Buffett bought and sold in the third quarter of 2020. We are going to dive into the 13F SEC filing for Berkshire Hathaway. So welcome to the We Are Investing channel. This is a channel that's dedicated in investing and personal finance. And today we got a good video for you guys. We're going to talk about Warren Buffett and what investments he's making right now. But before we proceed into these details, please consider hitting that subscribe button, ringing that bell, and smash that like button. Goes a long way in helping the channel grow, and I really do appreciate it. Alright guys, I'm not going to waste any more of your time. We're going to get right into the video. So Berkshire Hathaway released their 13F filing just a couple days ago. Now a 13F filing is an SEC file that is a quarterly report that is required to be filed by all institutional investment managers with at least $100 million in assets under management. Now Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway have way more than $100 million in assets under management. So each quarter they file a 13F. And in that 13F, you can see what stocks they bought and what stocks they sold for the quarter. Now keep in mind that the third quarter ended at the end of September. So any moves that were made after September 30th are not going to be included in this 13F. Now if we dive into the 13F filing for the third quarter of 2020, we can see that Berkshire Hathaway sold $12.82 billion in stock, but they purchased $17.6 billion in stock. That gives them a net purchase of $4.78 billion in stock. But that does not include the $9 billion in share repurchases that occurred in quarter 3. Now this is a huge improvement from quarter 2 of 2020 when Warren Buffett sold the airline stocks. In that quarter, they had a net sale of stocks at $12.78 billion. So in this quarter, they bought close to $5 billion, and last quarter, they sold close to $13 billion in total. Now, Berkshire Hathaway and Warren Buffett have a ginormous portfolio. And the portfolio size just increased again in this most recent quarter. In quarter 3 of 2020, the portfolio size was close to $229 billion. In quarter 2 of 2020, it was just $202 billion. I say just like it's a small amount, but it's a significant increase is what I'm trying to say. And in quarter 1 of 2020, the net portfolio size was $176 billion US dollars. Now, what seems to be driving a lot of news headlines are statements that Warren Buffett reduced or trimmed their size in Apple stock. And that is true, but I want to talk about this a little bit more because the news headlines can be a bit deceiving because they're just trying to get views. Now, it is true that Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway trimmed their Apple position. They trimmed it by around 3.7%. However, if you look at the size of Apple stock for the portfolio of Berkshire Hathaway, you can see that it's 47.78% after they trimmed the position. So the position size is ginormous for Apple stock within the portfolio of Warren Buffett. So the fact that he sold some of it shouldn't really alarm you as an Apple investor. It does not mean that he does not like the company because he's still holding on to 944 million shares in Apple stock. He's still bullish on this company. However, Apple might be a little bit more overvalued now. He could be trimming his position because it got too big. There's a lot of factors here that could be in play, and I would not be afraid if you're an investor in Apple stock. I don't think that this is a signal that Warren Buffett is trying to put out in the stock market saying that Apple is too overvalued and you need to sell. Do not try to read into this too much and be careful when you read these news headlines because they can be a little bit deceiving. Now, if you look at this table, you can see what positions were added by Warren Buffett. We can see that he added 9.2% in Bank of America. He bought into Bristol Myers, Merck, AbbVie, Snowflake. He added to his position in General Motors by 7.12%. He bought a new position in Pfizer. He added to Kroger, 13.85%. He added a position in T-Mobile. And he added to his Liberty Latin America Ltd, 11.38%. His new positions, a lot of them are pharmaceutical companies. Bristol Myers, Merck, AbbVie, and Pfizer. Snowflake is not a pharmaceutical company. That is a software, a cloud company. And T-Mobile, you know what kind of company that is. That is communications. Now, looking at this, we can see that most of the positions that he opened up as new positions are pharmaceutical companies. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So Warren Buffett must be bullish on these pharmaceutical companies for some reason. Maybe it's a vaccine play. Maybe it's something else. I'm not entirely sure. Let me know in the comments down below why you think Warren Buffett would be opening up new positions in all these pharmaceutical companies. Another stock that I'm not entirely sure why he added to is Bank of America Corporation. Because if you look at what he sold at this table, you can see that he sold a lot of banks. He sold Wells Fargo. He dropped that 46.38%. He sold Jpmorgan Chase and Company, 95.64%. He sold M&T Bank. He sold Liberty Global. He sold a lot of financial companies in this 13F, but yet he added to Bank of America. Now, another stock that he sold out of and he completely closed his position in this company, and that company is Costco. Warren Buffett has held Costco for over a decade, and through that investment, he gained 462.60% on the investment. He's done very well with Costco, but in this 13F, he completely closed his position in Costco. So maybe he's no longer bullish on Costco, or he thinks that Costco is just too expensive right now. I do not know why he sold it, but he did sell all of his stake in Costco. Now, as Warren Buffett's portfolio stands, his top 5 holdings are Apple at 47.78%, followed by Bank of America Corporation, which he added to at 10.63%, Coca-Cola, American Express, and Kraft Heinz Corporation. That, my friends, are the top 5 holdings for Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway. Now, another thing that happened this quarter were share buybacks by Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway. They bought back a record $9 billion in stock in the third quarter. Now, this $9 million in share buybacks is a record, but they also broke a record in quarter 2 of 2020 when they bought back $5.1 billion in share. So the total buyback for 2020 is $15.7 billion. That is a lot of shares that they are buying back. Now, Warren Buffett stated that they will buy back its stock only if Charlie and I believe that it's selling for less than it is worth. And the company, upon completing the repurchase, is left with ample cash. And boy, do they have cash. Right now, they are sitting on around $140 billion in cash that can be used for future investments. Now, that pretty much wraps up the activity for Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway in the third quarter of 2020. Now, my thoughts. The fact that he trimmed his position in Apple, you should not worry. He still owns a ton of Apple and is still the #1 holding by a very large percent. The fact that he added to Bank of America but sold on all the other bank stocks is a little confusing. I'm not bullish on banks right now, your traditional banks. Outside of a pen and a chain, I don't know what they really offer. In millennials, we shop for the best rates, and these traditional banks cannot provide that because of the overhead that they have because of their brick and mortar stores. So online banks and online services like Rocket Mortgage are the way to go, and they are the way of the future. So traditional banks, if they're not an investment bank, I am not really bullish on, so I don't agree with that move. Also, Warren Buffett opened new positions in 4 pharmaceutical companies. So he sees something in that sector that he's bullish on and that he likes long term. I don't know what that is. Those stocks have run up a little bit because of the vaccine play. I'm interested to see what you think about that. Let me know in the comments down below, and if you're a buyer in those pharmaceutical companies. Outside of that, there was $9 billion in share buyback. That is a record. It's probably because he thinks Berkshire Hathaway is undervalued, and also he might not find something in the stock market that he really likes right now. And that also explains to why they are sitting on so much cash at $140 billion. So with that being said, guys, that pretty much wraps it up for this video. I thank you so much for your time, and I thank you so much for sticking around to the end. If you like this video and the content that I am providing, please consider hitting that subscribe button, ringing that bell, and smashing that like button. Also, let me know in the comments down below what stocks you are buying right now. In the video description down below, there are a ton of resources that can help you be a better investor. We got the Facebook group, the Discord server, where we talk stocks on the daily, and the Patreon page, where I post whenever I make a trade or investment in the stock market. But with all that being said, guys, that wraps it up. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. And this is We Are Investing. And together, we are invincible. See ya!